So it is finally time to talk about Herman Smith's Game Awards video. Because if the likes to dislikes or anything to go off, as well as the general reception to his video is anything to look at, it is not going to be a good video. I swear, when does Herman ever actually have a good opinion for an entire video? Like, he has some pretty okay takes here and there, but Jesus Christ. Like, it is never this bad. The reception to this video is fucking insane. I have never seen so many people annoyed at Herman this time around. I'm really starting to ask myself, are there any other Nintendo fanboys out there? Because I have only ever seen him. Like, I know there are some other ones, but the amount of times that people actually talk about them is so few and far between. But Herman Smith, you can pretty much find a video on him every single week. So I don't know, let's just go laugh at the fucking fat tub of lard we call Herman Smith because he's crying and coping over the Game Awards again.
It does feel like this is the beginning of the end.
Well, it looks like this is going to be a really serious video. He's got the hat on and everything, so I guess this is going to be a very intellectual video from him.
For the Game Awards, because it feels like basically everyone is upset for some reason or another. You know, Spider-Man fans are seething, Starfield fans are seething.
Hey, real talk, if anyone's actually interested in me talking about the developer crying on an interview about people not playing Starfield or even liking the game, I think that would actually be a pretty interesting video, so I don't know, leave it in the comments if you're interested. The reason why I say that is because I have experience using the game engine to make mods, so I don't know. I just thought it would be interesting to bring up.
I haven't seen a lot of people like seething about Hogwarts Legacy, but I'm sure they exist, right? And of course, there was the ridiculous Game of the Year situation in which Super Mario Bros. Wonder wasn't really talked about at all, right? It was absurd, right? We saw the Game Awards do their thing where they came out, you know, Jeff Keighley personally like gave blowjobs to Hideo Kojima.
I won't lie, I did find that shit pretty annoying that he sat there for 10-20 minutes just talking to him about his fucking game that we learnt nothing about, except that it's a movie. You know what, real talk, Herman, if he was making a Nintendo game, would you be saying all these things and it saying it was bad pretty much? Because I'm sure you would absolutely agree that it was a good showcase if it was a Nintendo game he was featuring, and especially if he was the one making it. So it really doesn't surprise me that you're saying it's bad, even though I absolutely agree with you. I think you're just doing it because, you know, Nintendo didn't get anything there besides, I think, 1 award, 2 awards? I'm not sure how many.
And Sean Murray and Swen, you know, twice. And then, like, it was absurd, right? But the thing that offended me the most, and I think even this was such a blatant example of game award corruption that even the crowd, which I'm sure is filled with shills and parasites who clearly are on Jeff Keighley's side, were put off by it, right? And I do think this is something that is going to kill the Game Awards in the long run, right? The fact that they gave Best Movie Adaptation to The Last of Us, right?
I won't lie, I was actually kind of expecting you to be more mad about the fucking Game of the Year that Tears of the Kingdom didn't get it, but I guess Best fucking Movie Adaptation, you know, I guess you can be mad about that as well. I mean, I thought both were pretty okay. I thought the Mario one was better, but I mean, I don't know. I've heard a couple problems about the Last of Us one, but yeah, I can kind of agree with them getting the award, even though I may have disagreements with it, so I don't know. I couldn't really care. Oh well. Both shows performed well and did pretty good, and a lot of people just seemed to enjoy them. Well, I shouldn't say show. One was a movie.
Not the far superior Super Mario Bros. Movie, which was far more successful, was far more popular, made way more money.
Yes, because the individual viewer cares about how much money a show makes instead of enjoying it for the quality it may have. Seems like a very smart argument, Herman.
You know, like, the differences in popularity between, like, The Last of Us and Mario is laughable, right? Mario is, like, what? The second biggest video game IP ever? Like, The Last of Us built itself on this idea that it was a major film franchise, like, from the get-go, and it's fallen out of favor. It has been since The Last of Us Part 2, which the Game Awards also gave the Game of the Year to, right, by the way.
Probably doesn't help that they enjoy fucking over their community with useless remasters and cancelling Factions 2. Honestly, that must suck to be a PlayStation player waiting for Factions 2 just to find out it got fucking cancelled. Genuinely the biggest L for Naughty Dog. And if I was to give you an idea why The Last of Us TV show probably won that award was probably because, I don't know, it had a Brokeback Mountain scene, and I know a lot of people called it woke. I haven't watched any of it, so I can't really tell you. I know they did do a couple race swappings here and there, but oh well. I'm sure the journalists got their rocks off to it, and probably that's why it got it, so I don't know. I guess your movie wasn't good enough, Herman, so you're gonna have to cry about it. But guess what, Herman? If you didn't know, there's a very simple thing of saying that both products are very good. Both people seem to enjoy both of these products that you were bringing up. Mario and Last of Us. It's not that hard to comprehend that people can like two different things, but guess what? They have to pick one over the other. One group's not gonna like it, and the other group's gonna like it. It's simple. They can't have both up there winning. It wouldn't make any fucking sense.
It's been fallen by the wayside. This TV show was their attempt at like rekindling the magic, rekindling the appeal, getting people to talk about it again, and nobody really gave a shit. Okay, there was this brief wave when the show first came out where people pretended that the original Last of Us was good and that it didn't.
This man just said the original Last of Us is not good, even though from everyone that I've heard from both Xbox and PlayStation, they're willing to admit that that was a really good Last of Us game. Some would argue the only good Last of Us game. But to say that nobody gave a shit or not many people watched it after the first round of it coming out, I think is just stupid. I still hear people wanting to see a season 2 of the show, which guess what, from what it looks like, there will be. Whether or not it's going to be good or bad, people seem to be interested in it, Herman. Herman, you really need to change up your script, because I'm fucking sick of you constantly just talking down shit that isn't on Nintendo. You say the exact same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different reaction like people are going to agree with you, when 9 times out of 10, most people will never actually agree with you, and the only people that agree with you are the people that circle jerk you in your fucking personal Discord.
Didn't fall off until the second, but basically it died off within like the airing of the final episode, right? People did that thing they always do. We're like, oh, did Joel do the right thing?
You look like a fucking dropkick. Why would you do that? You know, I'll give you credit. At least you gave me a new picture for my thumbnail. I guess that's one thing I can take away from this.
But, like, in reality, the Mario movie was objectively superior, right? It was an original storyline. It was something we've never seen before. It was an animated film. You know,
yeah, that's right. It's an animated film. It was definitely never done before. Not like Disney's been doing it for how many fucking years now? Jesus fucking Christ, Harmon. That's such a shitty fucking point to bring up. Like, no shit, it's gonna be an animated film. It's meant for fucking grown men and children, dumbass. And I don't really agree with you saying that this is something that you've never seen before, because to my knowledge, he has made it into movies and TV shows before. And I mean, you could argue the fact that, yeah, you haven't seen this movie before, so, you know, you haven't technically seen it. But I can't really comment on the narrative either. I don't know if the narrative is, you know, straightforward, unique, but since it's made for both men, fucking women, and children of all ages, I think it's a pretty simplistic story, and it's pretty easy to follow, and I've only heard relatively good things about it, but I can't comment on it since I haven't watched it.
it was just, it had hit it out of the park. It was way, way better than I think anybody really expected it to be, right? And
you know what, I'm actually going to agree with him on this one. You know, not many games that actually get movie adaptations are usually good, so I'll give him credit on that opinion. That's actually a W take. At least he got something right out of this video.
It's embarrassing that the Game Awards seriously tried to pass off The Last of Us as the winner this year. In fact, like before this show aired, like this was the thing, I think I said this like during my nomination video where I was talking about this, like, if The Last of Us wins again, this is absolute proof that the Game Awards are straight up rigged.
I will agree with you that the show is rigged, but I don't think it's rigged for the reason that you're thinking it. You're talking about a fucking show in a category that's on about shows. It's rigged in favor of whatever the shitter journalists decide to make it. But this Game Awards show is about games, not about a fucking movie and a fucking show. If that's your reasoning for thinking that it's rigged, I think you're stupid.
Because there is no metric whatsoever where The Last of Us comes out on top over Mario, right? Like, nothing, right? Like, you know, there's just no reason to ever think that, really. But they tried to do it anyway. And you can watch the crowd when they announce the winners. Like, they look visibly confused. Like, there's not a lot of applause. Like, it's just like kind of, okay.
Probably because most of us weren't there to see what was the best movie adaptation or best adaptation into a fucking TV show or anything. Most of us are there for fucking video games first and foremost, Harmon.
It's like, because like, unlike video games, which take a lot of time investment and a lot of, like, people aren't going to play every game that comes out, right? That's the nature of this industry, right? Like, it's hard to keep up with everything for a normal, functional human being.
It's good to admit that at least both of us are non-functioning humans by that logic. I mean, at least we can both agree on something. One of us does more contribution to society than the other. Like, come on, Herman, you could expect this to not backfire and shoot yourself in the head by doing that. Like, you just made yourself look like a fucking idiot for saying that, because you're someone that actively keeps up with the gaming industry, constantly talking about it. Every time there's a new release from Nintendo, you talk about it, or something like that. You keep up to date with it, so you're more just shit-talking yourself more than anything.
Right. But with movies, especially like video game adaptations, like it should be easy to keep up with everything and really evaluate like what is and what isn't popular, right? And there is no denying that the Mario movie has retained its relevancy more than The Last of Us has. Nobody cares that The Last of Us is getting a season 2.
If nobody cared about Last of Us getting a season 2, why would they be making a season 2? I mean, I'm not the type of guy to talk about movies, because I don't watch movies or TV shows much anymore at all. I watch very rarely anything anymore, so, you know, I'm not really the person to be talking about this. But is it really hard for you to admit that people like both of these IPs, and both of them will be getting more stuff in their categories later down the line? Like, you're gonna get more Mario movies, and Last of Us is gonna get more seasons. Like, what's so bad about that, Harmon?
But here we are talking about like the Legend of Zelda live-action movie, the Mario movie sequel. We're talking about the Nintendo Cinematic Universe. Like, you've never seen anybody talk about
There is a Nintendo Cinematic Universe? I didn't know that. I guess I learned something new. Okay, hear me out, boys. For the next Mario movie, what if we get Bowser as the main villain again? And what if he funds like a bunch of extremist Islamic fucking terror organizations? Just think about that. That would actually be such a cool plot. He's got like a bunch of Somali pirates. He's gonna go take over the West, and he's gonna be like, he's gonna be the big bad guy that everyone has to unite for. Mario's gonna fucking Luigi gonna like help him. You know, that, I don't mean to brag, but I think I've got the next Mario movie. Nintendo, you should hire me. I could help whoever does your fucking movies.
PlayStation Cinematic Universe. Like, oh, is The Last of Us gonna kick off a wave of PlayStation movies? No. Because The Last of Us couldn't carry the PlayStation brand, right? Nobody wants to admit it, but like people like to do this thing where they pretend The Last of Us was.
Both of these adaptations were wildly successful, and I'm sure it inspired a lot of people to take more of these gaming IPs and put them into movie or show form, to do some actual good things with them. I do hope we get to see more out of that stuff, as personally, I'm a big fan of those actually becoming, you know, movies and shows myself. Except the Halo TV show, that one can go die in a ditch. But if they do make stuff that I like, maybe I'll get back into watching movies and TV shows again, you know. The only thing I'm really excited for is the new Shrek movie, because God knows that will be good, since the new Puss in Boots movie was actually fucking fire as shit.
Like some major deal and some huge phenomenon, but in reality, that was the beginning of the end of the PlayStation brand. It was the...
Yes, the PlayStation brand must be dying, even though they are the most successful console on the market. I mean, that's if you're not including the Nintendo Switch, but, you know.
And to think that they seriously threw that up there against the long-awaited Super Mario Bros. Movie, a good one, and they seriously tried to pass it off as the winner this year. Really, that's what they tried to do. That's what they thought they could get away with.
I'm surprised you're not pissed at fucking Tears of the Kingdom not getting Game of the Year that much. You haven't mentioned it much this video. I'm actually kind of impressed. You've not mentioned Game of the Year. Maybe you're gonna save it for another video, maybe. Fingers crossed. I would love to make another video on you.
That's what they thought would work. Like, they had to do it, right? Like, I released statements about this because, like, The Last of Us, like, PlayStation Productions is like their next major step forward for PlayStation. Like, this is how they're going to try to pull in the normies. This is how they're going to trick them into thinking that like PlayStation is some big viable brand by like...
That's right, guys. PlayStation must not be viable, even though they are the #1 platform to play games on in most people's eyes, you know? My bad for not thinking that they've actually also appealed to casual and normie gamers by making majority movie games and very easy to play games, you know? Not like they've already done everything you've said to make their games the most wide and appealing as possible.
Like, once they're putting out hit after hit, year after year, like, it's gonna be impossible to write the brand off like they used to. Like, doing the thing they used to, where, like, oh, this next piece of Nintendo hardware is gonna fail, so then Nintendo will have to go third party. They've been doing it forever. Like, people are gonna be seeing these Mario movies, and they're gonna be going out and buying Nintendo hardware.
I would like to see any proof of people going out there saying that Nintendo will go third party. I expect them to be the very last one to ever attempt going third party. They have the largest user base out of any platform except Steam. They are wildly successful with a lot of their games. The last game, what was it? Tears of the Kingdom? That was wildly successful. So I don't know how you come to this conclusion that people want Nintendo gone when Nintendo sits in their role perfectly. So we have finally made it to the clip that you were all waiting for from Herman Smith, and it is the clip of him telling Jeff Keighley to eat a light bulb if you would will. Because I skipped past most of the other stuff, I don't want to look at it, it's all boring shit of him repeating himself again in one of these videos, so there's no point showing you all that stuff, but if you want to, I'm sure you can find his video.
So, like, right now, I do think the major thing to take away from this, the Game Awards in general, is just yeah, it's completely done. It's over, right? Like, I'm never watching the show again. I'm never caring about it. Jeff Keighley needs to commit seppuku. Like, he needs to, like, go to Japan and just, like, ritualistically just go through the traditional, doing it, because
Huh, was that it? I mean, shit, I've said way worse things to my friends. Well, that's because they pissed me off and they fucking deserve it, but what he said right there was child's play, I would have preferably just said, eat a light bulb. That would have been far more interesting. But, I do think people do have a fair right to criticize this because, he's not trying to be funny. He's not pissed off at a game. Those are the two reasonable reasons why I would say something like this, Playing Call of Duty or For Honor really does let out the worst in me. But he's saying it because he's pissed that your Game of the Year or your Best Movie Adaptation did not win anything. So I can see why people are actually pissed off at this, because it's stupid that you said this. At least I have the common decency to admit to people that I'm gonna say stupid shit whenever I want to say stupid shit, because that's just me as an individual. Us Australians aren't known for being intelligent. So I think that's everything I wanted to cover from this video. You got a decently long video in exchange for watching until the end, so yeah, hope you enjoyed, take care, goodbye, see you in the next video. Hopefully I can get one out before Christmas, and if not, I'll do one after Christmas. Take care.